Parasites typically come from water sources or your pets, and that's usually how you get them. So you need to be very mindful of where it is when your report comes back, when it tells you what kind of parasite you have. It also tells you in the report where the most likely sources are you're being contaminated from. If it is your pets, make sure you're not kissing your pet's fur, petting the fur, and not washing your hands before you touch your mouth, because that's how the eggs of those parasites get inside your body. And 90% of all human beings in America supposedly have parasites per the CDC. And then 100%, say parasitologists, 100% of all pet owners of dogs and cats all have parasites. They're all convinced they do. So you need to be very careful about how you let your dogs and cats lick on you, lick your hands, and then touching your mouth without washing your hands. You transfer the eggs of those parasites onto your hands when you touch them, touch your mouth, swallow the eggs, and then they hatch inside your body. So these are the things you need to be looking out for. You need to be eating those because inside those foods are the actual healthy bacteria that are supposed to be in your gut anyway. This is the principle of eating whole foods without cooking them to death. 70% of all autoimmune cases I've ever seen in my practice are actually caused by parasites. All of them. We're talking rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, fibromyalgia, Sjogren's. There was always an underlying parasitic cause. Just so y'all know too, if you want to know something very interesting, 50% of all cancerous tumors, polyps that I was ever seen in my patients in my practice actually weren't cancer. They were actually parasitic egg sacs, misdiagnosed as cancerous tumors. If you want to know just how huge the misdiagnosis of cancer for parasites is, look at every research study published that ivermectin cures certain cancers. Ivermectin is an anti-parasitic drug specifically, but it's being used around the world to combat and cure all types of cancers. You want to know why that works? Because most of them are parasites. Well, if you knew they were parasites, you wouldn't need chemotherapy and radiation to cure or treat cancer patients in these cancer institutions all around America. If you never taught the oncologist to look for parasites as the cause, or that the cancerous tumor or mass you're looking at is actually parasitic egg sacs, if you never got that training, you wouldn't even know that was a possibility. So if you never acknowledge that, you would never know that there are cheap alternatives to kill parasites and remove them from the human body, all naturally even, versus having to use chemotherapy and radiation to try to kill all cells in the human body, hoping you don't kill the person.